So this is the new clan that will be coming, I think, later this month or beginning of next month. This is how it works. This clan has no fame. So you cannot get a fame victory, you cannot farm fame, you're always on 0 fame. So you started with a Warchief, which her name is Signy. So she's age 15 when you start the game. Iron is not needed to summon Signy, so if she dies, you can just use gold to get her. And each year, Signy grows up, unlocking new abilities. So not by killing, not by lore, not by fame. It just literally year passes and she grows up. So when you start, she can attack another territory. She doesn't give you any bonuses. She doesn't use your food. Like, she doesn't eat your food. And she's a melee unit. Now, at age 16, which is 801, she gains 20% movement speed, which you can see here, and becomes ranged unit. And also, what this means is can throw foes tiles like skirmishes. I feel like it's written really weird. Like, I would have no idea what it means. Basically, what it means is she can walk through the tiles without neutral creeps attacking her. Like skirmishers. Skirmishers are the new units that can walk through tiles without getting attacked by neutrals, so you don't need to clear them. But they have light armor, so they're very easy to kill. Earlier, I defended 7 skirmishers. That's a very hard word to say for me. And Signy with like 6 workers, 1 extra, and 1 Signy. So they're not very good, but you can harass with them. And then at age 18, which is, you guys probably noticed this spell I was casting. So she can use Scorched Earth to burn an empty or enemy zone during 3 months. So it lasts 3 months, and then it's a 3-month cooldown. So you can basically keep it up 24/7 if, you know, opponent lets you. So burnt zone, minus 50% production. Snakes, units, and buildings, plus 20% attack. So the way I was using it there is I was burning his fields, so he had minus 50% production there on that whole tile. So not only on fields, but everything on that tile. But you can also use it like when you're, you attack, you use it, and then your opponent comes in and you have 20% more damage. Now, the interesting thing about this is, you can use it defensively. So if you're about to get attacked, you can use it and burn your own tile, get 50% reduction, but you got damage boost. So that's pretty nice. But I think you should always be using this on enemy production if you can. So this game that you just saw, he tried to use it on my hunter style twice. But I focused fire with everything I could on his Signy, and I killed her before she got the Scorch off. Actually, he got the Scorch off once. So, remember, Scorched Earth doesn't do any damage to your units. So if you see opponent casting it, just attack it and try to kill it. You cannot interrupt it with anything unless the opponent moves or you kill Signy. That's it. I think it's an interesting clan. So actually, I want to start a single player game. I don't want to talk about it a little bit more. It's an interesting clan. So first couple of people, because I started a little bit later than everyone else this beta, a couple of people said that she's too, the clan is too strong and skirmishers are too OP. I think they're kinda I see them having value, but I don't see them having value unless you're Snake Clan. So I'm gonna explain why. So first things first, lore. Let's walk through the Snake Clan. So top side, the economy, what I like to call it, is basically normal. Sharp axes, colonization, mining efficiency, recruitment, medicine, Hearthstone, and then stolen lore. I think this specific lore is super cool. So what Hanky did last game is why he wasn't starving out even though he was on 1 field, is you can steal any lore right, like that's in that position, I think, or maybe last 2 positions. I don't know exactly how it works. I'm actually gonna ask him. But basically, you can steal. I'm asking him now. He's gonna reply, and I'm gonna tell you guys right now. Okay, so he says from that last position. So basically, no matter what clan, stag, bear, whatever, wolf, you can take their lore. Like that's your lore, basically. You take whichever. So if you're in a situation like a stalemate, you can take field rations. And then your army 1 starves. It's legacy exploration, harpoons, advanced silos, and field. So that's pretty cool. I think that gives you a lot of options depending on what the map is. So you kind of have to think about it and make sure you get the one that's most appropriate to the map. So if you have a lot of like food silos, obviously you're going to go for the, I think it was goat one. With improved food silos. And that's it for the economy part. Now the trading part, I'm gonna go trading. I'm gonna touch on military last because I think it's the most interesting one and has the most to kind of talk about. So trading starts pretty normal. Shipbuilding and black market. Black market, as you can see, merchants produce 10% more crowns, like period. Every merchant produces 10% more crown. Now, gain 75% crowns when trading with enemy clan. Degrading diplomatic relations, you can trade even when at war. Enemy clans get no resources from black market trading. So what this basically means is, like it says, you can trade the enemy clan. They will not get your resources. So if you're trading food, you will be losing food, but they won't be getting it. And you get 75% crowns when trading with them. Now, this has some interesting plays. For example, instead of opening... So you have like... I feel like this is the first clan that you kind of have 2 options between shipbuilding and merchants. Because most of the clans are kind of, you know, one-sided. Which one is better. So you can either go shipbuilding if you have a lot of shores. Or if you don't, you can do this. You can send a very early scout straight to the opponent's base. Straight to the opponent's base and then scout one of the territories they will be taking very quickly. So by doing that, when he takes it, you will, you know, go neutral with that with the enemy and you can start trading. Otherwise, you would have to get improved scout and you know, scout them and then start trading. So that's one strategy that you can go with this. Get super early trading, get a lot of money. You do get a lot of money from this. Let me just put some workers here so I don't start or freeze. And yeah, I think that has some interesting plays, and I really like that they kind of gave an option, and that both are, I think, viable depending on the map. Now, this one is standard. Carpentry Mastery is pretty standard, and then we have this, and then this is again Snake's new lore. Bonus of special tiles is doubled. Ruins and shipwreck grant +2 happiness. So basically what this means is tiles like Thor's Wrath, is it called? Or Gazer, that gives you +1 happiness, minus 10% wood. I think bonus of that is doubled. So I'm pretty sure that instead of you know, getting +1 damage, you get a +2, if I understand this correctly. And then also from the Gazer, you will get, instead of +1 happiness, you will get +2. But I'm not sure how wood consumption works, like the minus 10%. Does it go to minus 20? I'm not sure. But yeah, that's something to see, because I've only played like 3 games. Ruins and Shipwreck grant +2 happiness. I think this is pretty cool, and again, it forces the clan to play a little bit different. So, you know, maybe sometimes you wouldn't rush for Ruins, but because you have this and you get 2 happiness, you know, you might as well. It's a pretty good way. So you don't need to build breweries super quick. Not only because of that, but because of the next thing that I'm about to talk about. Someone's saying my camera is delayed. Oh well, what are you gonna do? I'm not sure why. Now this is this is the super important one, the military. You already start off with something different. So gain +2 happiness and +2 food for each enemy clan where you have at least one military unit near or inside his frontiers. Increase skirmishers attack by 20%. Now, just so that there's no confusion, if you're playing one-on-one, you're gonna get +2 happiness and +2 food income if you put one unit just outside of his tile. So let me just explain exactly how that works. Or inside of his tile. So if you're attacking your opponent, you're gonna get +2 happiness, +2 food. Or let's say that I am the opponent, right? Let's say that I am the opponent and this is a free tile next to him. So what you can do is you can put your Signy in 801 because she can walk through tiles neutrals, right? She won't get attacked. You can put her here and you're gonna get +2 happiness, +2 food because you're in a tile that's connected to your enemy. So this is something that you really want to use. Like this is the first lore in the military tab, and +2 happiness is like absolutely insane. So I'm gonna talk about a little bit later what lore I went for when I played. Another thing to talk about. A lot of people were asking me in the chat when I was streaming, does this stack? So as you can see, it says for each enemy clan. So it doesn't matter how many units you have. You can have 10 units, you can have 1 unit, you will still get +2 happiness, +2 food. But if you play team games, from what I understand, and I'm pretty sure it's like this. So if you play team games, let's say you're playing 3 versus 3. If you put 1 unit in front of one opponent, 1 unit in front of second opponent, or you know, tile next to him, and 1 unit in front of third opponent tile, you will get +6 happiness and +6 food. Because it says for each enemy clan. That's how it should work, and that's something to consider whether you're playing team games or solo. You do want to get a scout at least deep enough so you see the tile that's bordering your enemy, because you can put your Sigmy, is that what she's called? I have to remember that. Signy, there we go. In 801, because like I said, in 801, she will not get attacked by neutrals, so you can just walk through everything, you don't need to clear anything, and that's pretty much it. Now, let me get these scouts, I want to show you guys something else. Now, let's talk about other things. So you have fur coats, standard, defensive strategy got buffed. Now, I want to say that some things, some specific things are changed, like this. It's now 30%, but that is not final. That is still to change. This is why this is beta. So, you know, don't think this is going to be like this. But I'd like it being 30% because it opens up for more defensive play and not just kind of mess up units and go. So, I like this change and I hope it stays. Now, feeling safe. Gain +3 happiness if you have Signy and +1 happiness per upgraded military camp. So that's pretty good skill to have. So she has a lot of, as you can see, a lot of happiness, Snake Clan, a lot of happiness lores you can go for, and then stolen lore at the end, you know, depending on what you take, can also give you a lot of value. Now this one, Gorilla. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing some of these and butchering the names, but it is what it is. I am not a native English. Now, military unit. This one is really interesting and sounds OP as hell, but it's not. Military units have +2% attack per civilian killed. Currently 0%, 40% maximum, 0 out of 20. So what does this mean? Every time you kill a civilian, which I'm guessing includes any worker, whether it's a woodcutter, farmer, just a normal worker, miner, whatever, you will get +2% attack bonus on all your units, up to 40% max. So, in theory, what you can do is you can, let me build this. what you can do is rush Skirmisher camp, go across the map, harass your opponent, build up that attack bonus, and then after transition to warriors or axe throwers and just kind of destroy your opponent. But this is the problem. It sounds really good, but in the games that I have played, in order for this to pay off, you need to be like all in or semi all in, because you need to attack early, you know, to harass your opponent. And one of the games that I did play, my opponent got like 10 workers killed, but my economy was still way better, and it didn't matter because I got to axe throwers in the end and I won. So I'm not sure. It sounds good on paper, but it's very hard to pull off. If it was plus 2% per unit, per anything, like a fighting unit or civilian, and then maxes out at 20% or 15%, I think this would be really good. But I think if you're fighting good players, you're probably not going to get a lot of value out of this. Unless the opponent is potato. And then at the end, again, this is another change that happened. It might not stay, so don't take it like, you know, it's in the game for sure. Improves your Signy's attack and defense by 25%. So not only attack, but defense as well. And then Monster Slayer is 50%. Now, that's all regarding lore. Again, Snake cannot win by fame. Have to remember that. So it's 801. So what just happened, if you look at the top left, she's now age 16 and she gains 20% movement speed, can attack at range, and can go through tiles. So if you look at her speed, she's a lot quicker now. And this is a thing that I'm not sure if it's broken. I'm feeling it might be a little too good. But we'll see. So this is what happens, right? You can... whatever, let's get trading. Because there's no opponent, I think. Or maybe... Oh, there is. Never mind. So in 801, she can walk through tiles. Kind of like Skirmishers, the new unit can, which I'm about to show you as well. Should have built it a little bit sooner. So the wolf, as you can see, is not attacking, and what you can do, attack, get it to the edge of the tile, go in, attack, go out, go in, go out, and you can basically clear all the tiles like this with just Signy. I think it's that's a little bit too strong in my opinion. I'm not really sure how to resolve this. I would say imbalanced. I've played like 3 games, but it's very good. And it's something that is specific to this class, to this clan, sorry, because it's the first Warchief that has range attack. Now, let's build skirmishes, shall we? Let's build some things over here. So, let's say your opponent is all the way here. Oh, it is? Okay. So you can just run through tiles. No problem. Wolves will not be attacking you. Bears will not be attacking you. You're all fine. So, what I was talking about earlier, you can go for a very deep scout and scout the territory that your opponent would take very quickly, and then when he does, you can harass him with Signy quite early, because if he's playing another clan, you suddenly have a ranged Warchief that, you know, can poke, and he can basically just never kill your Warchief. He's gonna need to build a tower, or he will either A, lose the territory, or he will be blading workers, and you guys know that you don't want to invest super early in units, especially not to defend a ranged Warchief. So that's one strategy you can go for. And again, if you have this, I'm going to show you guys how it works. Under pressure, +2 happiness, +2 food. So look at this, 1 happiness, I go into this tile, +3 happiness, and then under pressure, +2 food as well. Sorry about that. So you don't need to scout his territory in order to get this bonus. You can see I'm having +3 bonus. So even if you don't scout your opponent fully, as long as you get this fairly... Oh, accidentally attacked. You can solo these, by the way, as well, as long as they don't have a ranged one with the same tactic. So even if you attack them, you can go in after, by the way. So you want to use this super early to get your economy up, to produce as many workers as you can. And like I said, even if you don't scout deep into his territory, you can just scout the tile next to him, stand here with your war chief, and get that juicy value, which I think is something everyone's gonna do because it's just really, really good. Now, skirmishers. Jesus Christ. Okay, let's get them. So there's a new camp, as you can see, for them, and they pretty much work the same way, like Signy. So they can move through tiles. Now, their armor is only 3. So you can see resistance, sorry. So they have less resistance than workers. They're weaker than workers. And they have 50 health, which is pretty much like workers, or like workers. And then if you go for that kind of strategy that I was mentioning earlier with this lore, you can try to pressure your opponent and kill his workers because you can pass through territory, so you don't need to clear anything. But that's still to be tested, like I said. I think it might not be bad to invest in like 2 skirmishers and then you know, Signy with it, because he's gonna need to also make 2 units plus put workers, so you already get value with that. So I think there's a lot of harassment options from this Snake clan. What else did I want to touch upon? Brain fart. There was something else, but I'm completely missing it. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention. Signy, as she ages, she also gets damage, resistance, and HP. So you can see now she has 63 health. Earlier she had 50. So what you can also do very early is when you scout the territories next to you, you can just use Signy to clear the territory that has 1 or 2 wolves. And then when she hits age 16, she will heal up for 13. And then you can still do that ranged clearing that I was talking about. One thing you have to be careful is in mirrors. You don't want your Signy to be lower health than opponents, because then you can't camp in front of his base. So for example, if you're both Snake clans and my Signy is full health and his is like 80%, I can sit here forever and I can get that value from under pressure, and he won't be able to because he can't attack outside. He would need to build units, which again puts him behind. So that's something to consider. I'm not sure if there is anything else. Like I said, Scorched Earth at age 18. Try to use it on opponents' tiles where they have food or production in general. But be very careful. Cast lasts about, I would say, 6 to 8 seconds. So if opponent sees that your Signy is moving, he just bursts it down and, well, you lose your Warchief. But like I said, luckily it doesn't cost iron, so even if you lose it, it's not the, you know, the biggest of deals like with the other clans. Because with other clans, if you lose Warchief, you're in a lot of trouble. I think that's it. I don't know what else I can talk about. This is kind of like my first impressions about this clan. Oh yeah, that's right. I want to talk about lore tree and what I was going for. That's right. I knew I was forgetting something. So, I didn't try going into sharp axes from start. The games that I did play, my lore basically went like this. I would get trading, then I would get shipbuilding in one-on-one. But I think going black market is probably better in team games, because your teammate can perhaps scout deeper into opponent's territory for you, or even a Raven teammate that scouts shore, so he discovers the enemy and then you can get a market super quick and start that gold production. That's assuming you have a runestone close by. If you don't have a runestone close by, you should probably go for shipbuilding, because you will need, you know, lore. Lore is pretty important, guys. Now, so I would usually go trading in one-on-one, then shipbuilding, assuming you have at least 2 shores, and then I was going under pressure, because by 801 you should have enough lore for 3 of those, and 801 is a time when your Signy can start moving through every territory without getting attacked, so that's when you start getting that value. And then I was going for Carpentry Mastery. You go for rapacious exploitation if you have any kind of bonus special tiles, which super early you won't have. You know, you won't have the Thor's Wrath super early, or a Gazer. I mean, maybe if you got a really, really good spawn. And then if you have a really close ruins that you've captured or shipwreck, you know, getting this for 2 happiness is a pretty good deal. So it should be trading, shipbuilding, under pressure, carpentry, and then this, depending on what kind of tiles you have. Now, I honestly think that this clan should... You kind of want to get value everywhere. Going into... what's it called? Going into war... military, sorry, lore... doesn't really boost your damage on the units at all. The only thing that's kind of worth getting is this. But late game, you know, Warchief is important, but it won't make that big of a difference. Unless you're going for some kind of harass strategy, then you probably want to go into the military tab next. But I think the lore that you want to go in after is Sharp Axes, Colonization, Medicine, and then Stolen Lore. And this is what I was talking about. Stolen Lore is super important because based on the game you're in, based on the tiles you got, you can pick the lore from some other clan. And it doesn't need to be a clan that's in the game. So even if you're playing one-on-one against Wolf, you can get stags or goats or bears. A lore that's right here. So that's pretty cool. If you're playing against an aggressive opponent, you might scout that he's gonna, you know, do some big 802 early attack or an all-in. Go for a defensive strategy. Like I said, you know, it's a good skill to have. And I think that's it. That's my early impression. I think there will be some strategies, like I mentioned, with the early harassment, but it won't be like huge skirmishes, 10 skirmishes attacks. It will be more like Signy plus 2, 3, 4 skirmishes, harassing everywhere and getting under pressure value. Because also Snake Clan has 20% more damage on skirmishes. I'm not sure how much other clans will be using this unit because it doesn't have that bonus. I think maybe with Wolf you can use it because Wolf is a very aggressive clan in the first place. But that's something that we'll have to see. And again, this is still beta. They might change a lot of things by the time the clan comes out. But when that happens, I'll just release another video. And I'll probably be playing a lot more Snake, so I can kind of give you the updates of what will happen. I'll also be streaming Northgard semi-frequently, I guess. Maybe like 3 times a week. So check it out. If you're watching this later on YouTube, the link will be in the description of the video. And that is it. That will be it for me today. I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream and the video. And I will see you guys next time.